There's an old saying in Druidism, which likely has parallels in various traditions throughout the world. It goes like this: the dragon is a master of all it surveys. It is the master of the earth it walks upon. It is master of the water it swims within. It is the master of the air in which it flies, and it is a master of the fire of which it breathes. From a Welsh perspective, this quotation refers to a pendragon, and a pendragon means a high lord, or, in my own humble opinion, a head prophet. In J.R.R Tolkien's legendary fantasy, The Lord of the Rings, one of the main characters is a ranger, destined to become the king of all men. This ranger's name is Aragorn. In the Welsh language, the word Aragon, which is phonetically very similar to Aragorn, translates to prophecy and can be linked to the dragon and the idea of nobility, foresight, and intuition. In this video, we will delve into the fascinating and intricate connections that exist between the mythical creatures known as dragons, the ancient and richly complex Welsh language, and the celebrated literary masterpieces penned by the legendary J.R.R Tolkien, namely The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. Dragons have their origins rooted deep in the ancient past, and they have been portrayed in various forms throughout history. They were often depicted as fierce adversaries who could wreak havoc with their fire-breathing abilities, but at the same time were also seen as symbols of veneration and awe. In Chinese mythology, the dragon is a sign of power, strength, primal forces, and the universal energy, or heaven. They are a mark of protection, linked to prosperity, good fortune, and good health. The Chinese dragon is often depicted as a serpent-like creature, with a long four-legged body, decorated with a colourful and eye-catching scaly coat. In the Western tradition, the dragon is predominantly viewed as an obstacle to be overcome. The dragon guards the golden treasure and holds the maiden hostage. In the anatomical understanding, when the hero, knight, or demigod battles the dragon to save the maiden and collect the treasure, it relates to a wrestling of the heightened nervous system while they are conserving the powerful creative force. When the hero defeats the dragon, it signifies the mastery of their own body. The gold, treasure, and the maiden represent the magical abilities attained when this great work is complete. In Wales, such a hero was once called a pendragon. Wales has a dragon as its national emblem, which also appears on the Welsh flag. The origins and significance of the Welsh dragon have been a topic of much scholarly attention, leading to several theories. Even today, the Welsh dragon still continues to attract interest and curiosity. The dragon is an old Welsh symbol of leadership and nobility. In the Welsh tongue, the very word dragon translates to lord. The histories, mythologies, and legends of Wales are packed with references to the great dragons, lords or nobles, who led and guided the Welsh nation in its time of need, both in battle and in song, story and verse. These were the Pendragons, the High Lords, or the Head Prophets. Some link the Welsh dragon to the Scythian and Sarmatian people of the Pontic steppe, northern Caucasus and the shores of the Black Sea. Introduced to Britain, it is said, by the Romans as outstanding cavalrymen, the Scythians wore scaled armour and flew serpent banners. For me, it is very possible that this connection between the ancient British and the Black Sea region dates back to ancient times and was a two-way connection. Another possible origin, and the most interesting in my own opinion, is the Welsh tale of Llwyd and Llefelys. First written down in the 12th or 13th century, but undoubtedly having ancient oral roots. This story of two British brothers who saved the island of the mighty was later included in the 19th century Mabinogion by Lady Charlotte Guest. In this magnificent legend, the ancient island of Britain is invaded by three plagues. An evil group of usurpers who were said to have a sense of hearing so acute that they could hear everything. A black magician who made the people sleep whilst they stole the plentiful abundance of the island. And finally, a pair of rampaging, warring dragons. Llwyd, with the help of his brother Llefelys, who lived in France, finally overcame the plagues of the Coroniaids and the Black Magician, and then subdued the dragons by encasing them in a mountain at Dinas Emrys. Once again, and much like many of our shared legends and mythologies, this is a deeply symbolic story, and its true allegorical depth requires more earnestness. So, with this in mind, I intend on going further down this particular rabbit hole in later, more detailed videos. The actual Welsh word for a dragon is draig, and this term also has interesting links, which we shall see at the end of this video. But once again, the word itself, dragon, really means lord or noble in the Welsh language, and this is evident in the famous Welsh term Pendragon. As alluded to earlier, and as we shall see shortly, a Pendragon can also be linked to the notion of prophecy and divination. A head prophet. The Welsh prefix dra relates to the idea of what is produced, an essence, and as we can see, dra is synonymous with the term tra, and tra signifies what is above or beyond. The French term tre is undoubtedly related. Here, I believe, we get to the root meaning of the Welsh word dragon. It means to go above or beyond, to create and to produce, to give birth to. The prefix tra has words like tragori, which means to transcend, and tragywedd, which relates to eternal and everlasting. It has many connotations toward the ideas of extremity, heights, limits, and going above and beyond. The suffix gon or gan only fortifies and supports this concept of prophecy and foresight. The Welsh word gan means to bring forth, to give birth to, and this is surely connected to the term gen or gen, which also relates to the concept of birth, creation, and generation. The Gaelic word for head, ken or keen, and the Old Scottish term for knowing, ken, are also undoubtedly tied to this same metaphorical understanding. So, the Welsh term dragon, when viewed as a compound word, dra and gan, may translate as one who goes beyond, above, or over, to give birth to, or to bring forth prophecy, insight, and wisdom. This idea of giving birth to a higher state, or going above and beyond, fits well with the common interpretation of the word dragon, which is to see clearly, or to see beyond. The Old Welsh word gogan further fortifies this way of thinking, and also provides some depth within the Welsh language when considering this interpretation. Gogan means, among the ancients, to presage, to prophecy, to divine or foretell. Interestingly, an epithet for the people of North Wales is the Gog, and there is a town in Mid Wales called Goginan. This is said to relate to the Welsh term for the north, which is Gogledd, and this highlights a fascinating link between the north and the concept of divination, intuition, insight, and prophecy. The biblical Gog and Magog may also be linked. This leads us nicely to the next link in the chain of supporting information. As mentioned earlier, the term dragon, as highlighted by the old word Pendragon, is a term signifying the leaders and defenders of the Welsh nation, the Welsh people, and the Welsh language. And it should be noted here that in times gone by, this would relate to the whole of Britain, Prydain, or the island of the mighty. In Welsh legend, the Mabí Darogan is said to be a hero who will come to help protect and rebuild the Welsh tradition. The term Mabí Darogan means the destined or prophesied child. This word, Darogan, once again ties to the notion of divination and foresight, with the prefix dar relating to what is to come, implying before, upon, or what is about to be. It is analogous to the English prefix pre. So here, the word Darogan, the name of the destined child of Wales, set to rekindle the ancient traditions of the Britons, can be beautifully connected to the term dragon, lord or noble, and the famous title of the Pendragon, the head lord, or the head prophet. Perhaps the Mabí Darogan may be seen as the precursor, the predestined lord or dragon, the great birth or coming into being, a spiritual rebirth maybe, an energetic birth perhaps, the birth of Pendragons. Another term synonymous with the word Darogan is the Welsh word Ares or Ares. Much like the Greek god of action, battle, warfare and victory, and the astrological sign which represents the higher mind symbolised by the ram, the term Ares relates to what is higher, above, and to prophecy and divination. It represents the idea of nobility, and this is evident in its connection to the Darogan, dragon, and Gogan. Its many connotations in the Old Welsh dictionary to these similar meanings only verifies this same idea. The ideas of highness, purity, greatness, and excellence. The prefix R has ancient roots, and the famous Vedic term Aryan is an obvious and ideal example. The term Aryan or Aryan means noble in the Sanskrit language, and in Greek the term arate translates to excellence, nobleness, and greatness. In Welsh, Aryan relates to what is necessary, required, or needed. In modern terms, it relates to silver and to money. Perhaps the most intriguing of all, and the word that ties all this together and leads us nicely to the next area of interest, is the Welsh term arrogan. The word arrogan has a clear connection to the notion of nobility, necessity, higher powers, and excellence through its prefix ar, and an obvious relation to premonition, precognition, foresight, and intuition through its suffix gan. Add this to its similarity in both phonetics and meaning to the terms darogan, dragon, and gogan, and this one word may well be, in my own humble opinion, the origin and source of the well-known term and legend of the Darogan, the dragon, and the Pendragon. The crown and kingdom of Aragon on the Iberian Peninsula in modern-day Spain may also be linked to this same ancient and noble idea. Furthermore, the Welsh term arwr, again phonetically comparable and worthy of mention due to its connotations, translates to a hero, a worthy, one who is above a man, and one who exceeds the human condition. Arwaith is noble and heroic, and Arwaig means a heroine. Of course, this takes us back to the genius of J.R.R Tolkien and his classic works, The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. In these masterpieces of the English language, Aragorn is the destined king of the race of men, and his name has an obvious likeness to the Welsh term Aragan, meaning to prophecy. And this, as seen, can be linked to the idea of a Pendragon, a head lord, or a head prophet, a Darogan, or a dragon in the making. And this is not mere speculation. Tolkien is well known for having a great love and admiration for the Welsh or original British tongue. This is a quote taken from a speech made by Tolkien. Indeed, some have even suggested that the beautiful elven language developed by the great storyteller was based on the language of the original Welsh. Further evidence of this connection is not difficult to come by, with the elven princess Arwen also having deep meaning in the Welsh language. The Welsh term Arwen means a smile or a simper, but it also has connotations toward the idea of purity, bliss, happiness, clarity, genius, and intuitiveness. The very word elf has some interesting connotations in the Old Welsh dictionary. Elf is a moving principle, and elven is an element, as air, fire, water and earth. The prefix el means what has in itself the power of motion, a moving principle, an intelligence, a spirit, an angel. And these can quite clearly be linked to the old Nordic and Germanic ideas of the elves. Also worthy of note is Tolkien's dragon from the Hobbit, Smaug. Smaug sits on the golden treasure of the dwarves and guards it with fire and fury. Smaug is an anagram of the term magus, and magus relates to magic, generation and regeneration. The Welsh word dragon relates to nobility and prophecy. It signifies a foretelling and insight into the old knowledge, the old ways, and perhaps the reintroduction of those old traditions, the traditions of the Darogan. These are the ways of the dragon, the Pendragon, or the head prophet. The old Druidic saying about the dragon mentioned at the beginning of the video holds further insights of anatomical interest for those interested and willing to take the steps required to embody them. The dragon is master of all it surveys. It is the master of the earth upon which it walks. It is master of the water in which it swims. It is the master of the air in which it flies, and it is a master of the fire of which it breathes. From the human, physiological and energetic perspective, they are the authorities in the land upon which they walk, the physical body properly maintained and stretched. They are adept at drawing nourishment from the waters in which they swim, the waters of the human nervous system and lymphatic system, and the waters of the dream and spirit world, through intuition and prophecy. They are masters of the air which they breathe, deep and controlled breathing, and they are the masters of the fire, the heightened, sacred bioelectricity running through their body when conserving and working with the creative energy. To subdue the dragon and rescue the treasure, we need to embrace the dragon energies, to embody them and master them. This is the mastery of the human nervous system, an ancient art form that brings improved health, increased well-being, and enhanced cognitive abilities. And then we become like a Pendragon. In the Welsh language, the term draig means a dragon, and, interestingly, the term draigiaw means lightning. Here we can see a beautiful association between the phenomenon of lightning and electricity and the mysteries of the dragon. This idea can also be found in the Far East, with the dragon's relationship with heaven and the concept of thunder and electrical activity. But it is also contained within the folklore of the North and the mystery traditions of the West and the traditions of many indigenous peoples. On the anatomical level, the dragon is the bioelectrical nervous system that enlivens, regenerates and rejuvenates. And when the dragon is mastered, the hero is born. an arwr, an arrogan, and a pen dragon.